Welcome back to Bassam. Today, guys, I am finally doing the Sly Cooper QNA. So sorry it took me so long to actually get this out, but I did want to make sure that the video was up long enough so that everybody could get their questions in. I won't be answering every single question in this video, so there definitely will be a part 2, but the biggest questions that I did get in that video, I will be covering in this one today, the ones that intrigued me the most, but like I said, I couldn't get around to all of them. Actually, a lot of questions were asked twice, so I will be getting to more questions than it actually seems like in this video, but like I said, a second part will be coming. And if you have more questions or you didn't have a chance to ask a question, make sure to do it right now in this video. Tell me in the comments below, ask me a question about the Sly Cooper series, my opinions on it, stuff like that. And that's what I'm going to be doing in today's video. I'm going to be answering questions from that original announcement video. But let's not waste any more time and actually get into this. And AME Gaming asks me my favorite chapters from the Sly Cooper series. What are my favorite chapters? Wow, I've actually made a video on this a long time ago. It's absolutely terrible. It's one of my first videos. I think it's private, and I do intend on remaking it. But I've got to say, let's just go by each game. I'll tell you my favorite from each game. Sly 1 has to be Sunset Snake Eyes. I love the atmosphere in that level, and this actually kind of gives away the answer to another question that I have later on. Mugshot was my favorite Fiendish 5 member from that game. Definitely made the episode, plus I think it looked the best. It definitely had a nice overall style that was similar to Sly 2 and 3 that I did really enjoy. I loved the casino theme, and even such things as the lighting were much better than the other episodes. It was a lot more bright and colorful, which that's one of the reasons why I love Sly 3. It's a lot more bright and colorful than the other episodes, made it much more appealing to look at. Like I said, as well as Mugshot, stuff like that made me really enjoy episode 2 from Sly 1. In Sly 2, my favorite episode would have to be episode 1, just because of Dimitri and the classic nightclub theme, and it's also the one I've played the most, because obviously when you boot up the game after you complete the tutorial from Sly 2, you immediately go to that episode. It's one of the most iconic Sly Cooper episodes, in my opinion, and it just definitely makes the game. Favorite in Sly 3 would also have to be episode 1, which would be An Opera of Fear. Loved Octavio. He was like another Dimitri, to be honest. He was one of my favorite villains from the entirety of the Sly Cooper series, plus the music in that episode, some of the best music in the Sly Cooper series, plus much more brighter place. I love the brighter colors of Sly 3, and An Opera of Fear was definitely a good, let's say, example of that. Favorite episode in Sly 4 has to be Go West Young Raccoon, which is episode 2. Love Tennessee Kid Cooper. I love the Old West theme. I think it was definitely a big highlight from Sly 4, because Sly 4, it was a good game, but it definitely lacked in certain areas. Episode 3 was just absolutely terrible, and especially coming off of episode 2, which absolutely blew me away. I love the villain that too. Toothpick was a very good villain, definitely a highlight from the game. But yeah, those are my favorite episodes from the Sly Cooper series. Sokka asks me, what animation style would you like to see in the TV show, or would you prefer in the TV show, the 2D animation that we have had ever since the beginning of the Sly Cooper series, or the 3D animation that we're getting? And I have to say 3D animation. Now, I love the animation from the original Sly Cooper games. It definitely looks fantastic, but I love experimenting with different styles as well. And we haven't really seen this new style in action too much, except for the movie teaser trailer, which I actually liked. I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I love the new style for the new characters, and plus CGI animation I've always enjoyed, and I think that they can do a fine job with the TV show. Now, the models in the TV show don't look as good as the ones in the movie teaser trailer, but I still think it has a lot of potential. Actually, Murray does look better, but when it comes to Bentley and Sly, I think it's a little bit downgraded, but overall, I think it's a good style, and I can't wait to see it in action. It very well could turn out to be very bad, and I might end up going back on what I said, but I love experimentation, and we'll see. We don't really know what it's going to look like yet. We don't have a trailer or anything like that, so fingers crossed. I like the 3D animation. Let's see how it turns out. Saru-san says, would you become a furry for Carmelita?
Yes.
No, but for real, that would be a no? What's the deal with furries, to be honest? Now, I'm not trying to insult anybody who might be, but I've always found it very weird and just overall uncomfortable. But who am I to judge? I am the one obsessed with a talking raccoon who's in love with a talking fox who is friends with a talking hippo and a talking turtle that try to hunt down different robotic parts of an old ancient bird. So, you know what? I'm gonna let it slide. Now, I might be breaking my own rules with this next one, but Hesiolite asks me about my other favorite gaming series besides Sly Cooper. So, sort of Sly Cooper related, but not at the same time. I have to say I'm a very big Nintendo fan, and I'm kind of a normie when it comes to that because I really like Super Mario, and that's like the biggest gaming series of all time, so nothing special there, but I'm a huge Super Mario fan and love every single game, well, okay, most games that come out in the series. The long-running series with over 200 games, might I say. Maybe a more obscure series that I do like would have to be the Rabbids series. It really gets a bad rap because a lot of people compare the Rabbids to the Minions, think they're completely unbearable, very annoying, but even before Mario Plus Rabbids, which one of my favorite games ever, to be honest, came out. I was always a big fan of the Rabbids. Maybe it's because I kind of grew up with them. I grew up playing the games, but each and every game I thought was really fun. And they didn't have to be mind-blowing. They didn't have to be crazy adventure-style games. They just had to be what they were, which were party games. And I really like party games. So the first one, second one, third one were all great. The first one was more of a single-player game, and I really enjoyed that because I like single-player adventure games. So it was kind of like that and a party game at the same time. Second one amped it up. Third one, I don't think it was better than the second one, but still had the same great qualities. And the fourth one, Rabbids Go Home, was an absolute blast. That was a full-on adventure game. When it comes to the games in the series after that, a little bit blurry because they threw in some really weird stuff after that. I think they had like an Xbox Kinect game for the Rabbids, which was based off of the TV show. That had a TV show, by the way, which I actually really enjoyed. Maybe I'll cover that later on, but yeah, Rabbids is a big one. Mario Plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, one of the best games, or probably the best game on the Switch so far, I would say. Yes, even more than Super Mario Odyssey, and I made a video on Super Mario Odyssey if you want to know more on my opinion on that game. And to kind of round it off, I'm a huge Super Smash Bros. Fan and can't wait for Smash Bros. Ultimate, which probably will dethrone Mario Plus Rabbids on the Switch for me. But yeah, those are the games that I'm interested in other than Sly. Sly Cooper Glitches asks me about my concerns for the upcoming Sly Cooper TV show. And I've got to say I have a lot of concerns. There's always going to be concerns until we actually see the show because we have no idea how it's going to turn out. We don't even have a trailer yet. So yeah, this is a big one. And the concerns I'd say I would have is veering too much away from the game series. It's important to experiment with the characters, to change them up a little bit for this new setting, for this new media, for the TV show. I think it's very important to not have a cut and paste of the game series and for them to do something different. But I don't want them to go completely so far off the rails to where the characters are unrecognizable, and that's true for any adaptation. I think they already did a good job with the character models. I said earlier that I do actually like the character models. While they're not perfect, they're good enough. So they get a pass on the character models. Now it's time for the actual personalities of the characters and the story. I don't think it's going to be based off of the game series in terms of story. I think it's going to be something brand new, and they've kind of already confirmed it through the synopsis. And he's kind of going to be a Robin Hood-like character, sort of like Green Arrow, which is a little alarming as well because that's something that Sly really doesn't do too often. Maybe inadvertently, you know, because he kind of ends up saving all of Paris with that whole spice thing at the end of Sly 2, but it's always been on accident. I don't really see him being an actual hero, going out, trying to restore justice to his city one thief at a time, like the synopsis says. Do I think it could work in the long run? Possibly, but this is Technicolor. They're really a loose cannon. They've made Alvin and the Chipmunks and Sonic Boom. That's two of their biggest animation features within the past couple of years. Sonic Boom, first of all, is very divisive. Second of all, Alvin and the Chipmunks, does anybody really like that show? I'm just going to be completely honest. Tell me in the comments. I just hope at the end of the day that the writers of the show know the characters, that they did their research, that they really know who these characters are and take them in a direction that, well, the fans would see fit. So something like that, if they're able to get that right, which is a big one, then I'll be fine with the show. I hope it turns out at least okay. So I'm going to set my expectations pretty low. I know it doesn't really sound like it because I am very excited for it either way, but my expectations are very low at this point. We'll just see what happens. I think I'm going to end the video here. Guys, I got a lot of questions. Some I won't use because they were either very vague and really open-ended, or I've answered them multiple times before, but I still do have questions that I did pick that I do want to get to in a future video, so I'll definitely be making a part 2, especially if I get more questions in the comment section of this video. So like I said at the beginning, please leave more questions that you might have about the Sly Cooper series in the comments below that I can answer in a future Sly Cooper Q&A. But with that being said, everybody, I hope you all enjoyed today's video. More are on the way, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.